All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right. And what I want to get into today, is dealing with, the suffering before the glory, because as we understand, all right, that we're coming into this last and final stretch, okay, where our faith is going to be tested, to see if we're worthy, to be those joint heirs that we speak on, dealing with Yahweh Shai, and this grace period, was a time for us to gain momentum, going into the time of testing and the time of trial, and that's why the Lord deals with us in a certain fashion where we're constantly tested, we're constantly being tried, and we're overcoming, and it's conditioning us to trust in our power in all circumstances, because we're finna go into another phase, okay, in how we're going to be tested. Prepare for things to change, prepare for new norms, okay? Prepare for certain comforts to be taken away. But one comfort that they can't take away is the comfort of Yahweh Shai, okay? Through the Spirit, the comfort of understanding these scriptures, man, and believing and having faith. That's going to be a comfort in the time of unrest and uncertainty, man. Okay, and I want to start here in the book of Acts. All right, chapter 14 and verse 22. It says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High. And I want to read in the NLT, Acts 14 and 22. It says where they strengthen, all right, where they strengthen the believers, they encourage them to continue in faith, reminding them that we must suffer many hardships to enter the kingdom of the Most High. So we're coming into a time, all right, it's not going to be fair. The devil, like I said, he's going to number us amongst, the criminals, the rebels, okay? We're going to be looked at as the problem of the earth. You see, there's going to be betrayal, a family, I'm supposed to say a man's foe should be within his own household, man. So we're coming to a time to where we have to be rooted, okay? And really believe this thing, man. Really believe that Yahweh Shai is coming to deliver a remnant of his people, man, from all these circumstances, man. We have to believe that there's a judge that's above Esau, okay? Esau can give us, life sentences and, you know, um, just detention, you know, just any type of, dungeon. We could be in a dungeon. They can send us here. He can do that. Okay. The Lord might allow this devil a little leeway to test us, man. Because we have to remember it's always a test. I say he can give us indefinite, detention somewhere at a camp or a base. They don't tell them where we can end up, man. Okay. Separated from our families. Okay. Because the Lord is going to deliver whole families. But even in that, it might be a time where you're separated from the family. Okay. You got to believe that he is. We got to believe that he is, man. Okay. So we come to a time to where nothing is off the table. Okay. Because the Lord, he's in full control and he's going to allow certain situations to look hopeless, man. All right. And we're going to have to remain stable here by understanding that he is. Okay. That's why when you go to Hebrews 11, all right, and 6, it says, but without faith, it is impossible, okay, to please him. So without faith, it's impossible. So the Lord has to test our faith for us to be found pleasing. As he said, well, Yahweh, this is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased. Okay? Yahweh, he was faithful to his father. You know, he fully believed, you know, and that's what drove his obedience. Okay? That's what drove him to sacrifice their life, you know, for the ministry's sake, and ultimately lay his life down to the torment, okay, of death. Okay, was faith in the Father, that the Father was going to get, you know, Yahushua had full faith that once he finished what he was tasked to do, okay, Yahushua had full faith in the Father that he was going to do what he said he was going to do, okay, which was be back at peace with Israel, beginning with the remnant. Okay, that was faith, and that faith was pleasing unto the Father. All right, so Yahushua is our pioneer, our example of faith. Okay, well, we, all right, want to be pleasing to the Father, man. Okay, and without faith, it's impossible. So the Lord is going to put us in circumstances where it's going to take strong faith, man, to endure. Just to keep sanity, faith is going to be keeping us sane. Okay, the difference between, you know, the hopeful elect and everyone else that's finna bug out, okay, is faith. You see, faith is gonna be an anchor in that day. It's gonna preserve our sanity, man. Having faith, okay, that He is. You see, it said, but without faith, it is impossible to please Him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that He is, man. And we gotta believe that He is in the worst circumstances, man, of the times that we're coming into. It says, and that He is a rewarder, all right, of them that diligently seek Him. Okay, and that He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him, man. You know, we fully gotta believe that. All right, and it's a reward right here. The reward is at the door. Tribulation is at the door, but the reward is right on the other side of it, man. We gotta believe that. You know, we need to go into Jacob's trouble with that momentum of believing that, man. You know, so that was the point. You know, I just want to make this real quick. And I was also, you know, testing some new mics I got. You know, old mics. Uh, they were the cheaper brand. You know, so got a better brand this time. So I would rather y'all give me feedback with the sound as well. You know, just trying to improve the audio. You know, with the videos. You know, from sit downs to, you know, the live camp. You know, so just Baba Shah, you know, give me feedback with the sound of how it sounded, you know. So Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified. Till next time I say shalom.